Okay, here's a short video on how to set up Raceroom. You see here I'm in the game. Go over here to a little cogwheel, and then one thing you want to do, go to Control Settings, and then Advanced, and then make sure your H pattern shift is on. Okay, and then this is what I recommend for the clutch. 70% and biting point of 3, and lower dead zone of 0. Basically what that means is you don't have to push it down as far because it's only 70%. I'm not sure what this biting point thing is, but 3 feels pretty good. Don't miss that many shifts. Force feedback, of course, we already know the settings there. This intensity here is the main dial. You can put that up to 100 if you want, but I keep it at 80 and then adjust each car individually, which after you get the cars, you'll see you can keep this at 80 and just adjust them as you need to. And then these are the other things. This force feedback minimum force, very important, 15%. That's a good setting. Get you lots of detail. Understeer 60, vertical 40. Anyway, you see all these. Okay, and these all, I played with them all. These I think are the best settings. And then you go back, and then vehicle settings is where you can take your clutch. You can of course have automatic shift, which sucks. And then if you want to use a clutch, turn it to off, okay, for a more authentic experience, okay. If you wanted a semi-automatic transmission, it kind of sucks, in a set of course it does it for you automatically depending on the car. Here you have to do it manually. So like if right now it's set up for the 6 shift with a clutch, but if I wanted to do like a sequential transmission, I would put the auto clutch to on, shift mode manual, and then go back to control settings, advanced, and then I would turn the H pattern off, and that combination gives you a sequential manual. But I'm going to turn it back on, go back, vehicle settings, turn that back on, and then, whoops, auto clutch off. So manual off. Yeah, okay, all right. So none of those. Now, I guess you know how to set all this stuff up. I mean, the main thing is, really all you need is the driving view. Assign a button to that. Of course, your shifters, and then these, left, right, accelerate, brake, all that stuff. I recommend you, when you first do it, you start a new profile, okay? I can't remember the exact thing, but basically you click on this pre-made profile, and then you go over here and you reassign your primary functions, and it'll create a new one for you. It's kind of important because they changed the force feedback a while back, and supposedly, like if you don't do that, you'll get stuck with the old settings or something like that. So set up a new profile. You just go to controller profiles, click on this one here, and then after you do that, go back in and then reassign everything, and it should create a new profile. Anyway, that made a world of difference for me. Here, this is all the stuff I've actually got set up. Of course, you have to assign the gears and all that stuff. And then, of course, I recommend a pause button to set that up. Can't think anything else really. Brake bias is pretty important. I assign that to this little guy here. So that's front and that's rear. Because a lot of these cars, the brake bias is important. Usually want to set it more to the rear. There's a force feedback meter. You hit F and it'll show you your force feedback level to make sure you're not clipping. You tell you're clipping if the line flattens out. And then these settings here. But the main thing I mainly drive with the on the hood without, not the cockpit. It's just too hard to see out. And I've got that mapped. The driving view, I've got it mapped to here. But whatever you whatever you feel like mapping it to, so that it's maybe like your other games. That's pretty much it. Video settings, you should pretty much be able to max out. Make sure your VSync is on. And then I've got everything maxed out. I mean, depending on your system. Don't look at this. I'm actually doing it through the NVIDIA control panel. I've actually got 8x and aliasing and all that stuff. So, you know, I would turn off the motion blur, because it actually makes things kind of blurry. You know, it's not as clear, but you know, whatever you want to do. Anyway, I think that's about it. One thing I'll show you real quick is like you go into practice, and then here's your car, you know, all this stuff. You know, this is after you get the cars. Make sure that's set to get real, you know, all that. Wait forever while it loads. This thing is really slow to load for some reason. I think it's got to go online or something and do something or other, because man, it's pretty slow. And this is on a really fast solid state disk. It just, one of the problems with the game. So here you are watching a video, watching a loading screen. Yay. This pretty much sucks. Jeez, okay, finally. Alright. Okay, see, if you go to car setup and then steering settings, this is really cool. Now this is way better than Assetto Corsa in my view, because look, you can set your wheel range up to 900 and you can lower it. And then, you know, normally I take whatever the default is here, but then you can set the steering lock too. Basically, the higher it is, the quicker your steering's going to be. It's basically the maximum degrees of steering. And a lot of these cars, like if you're having trouble catching them, like when they slide, turn up the steering lock to a higher number and you'll get faster steering. You'll be able to correct quicker. That was really helpful to me. But you don't want it so quick that you overcorrect. So you just have to play with it, figure out the right one is. And here's the key, this FFB multiplier, like it's 926 and 3.4. If I were set to default, okay, and you see what happened, it went up to 30, and then the FFB multiplier went down, and you see I had to turn it back up to 3.4 to get good force feedback. So you just have to play with that and whatever you like. You know, everybody's different on that. I like it strong enough to where, you know, it the wheel straightens up nice, but not so much that you're having to exert so much force you end up overcorrecting. Anyway, you just have to play with it. But what's cool is that it will remember this. You don't have to set it up for each track. You just set it up once, how you like it, like the force feedback multiplier, and it'll remember across all tracks and everything for this car, which is cool. And then of course, you know, you got your setups and all that stuff here. Alright, so I think that's enough. Okay.